Hi everyone, I'm Steve Krause and welcome to 323 Online. If you're watching this video, you figured out how to log into the class website, which is great because this is the space where the online class is going to take place. Anyways, I just wanted to create this short video to introduce myself, the class a little bit, hit a couple of highlights, and then let the conversation begin underneath where I'm at right here. So on my computer right now, I'm looking at the policies page or the policies link on Writing in the Professional World, and you can read along with this, look at it yourself. I'm just going to hit a couple of highlights for now. Um, my name's Steve Krause. Call me Steve, call me Professor Krause, whatever makes you most comfortable. Office hours, things like that. 323, as it says here, is a writing intensive course that's designed as sort of the introductory course in the professional writing strand of the written communications major. Now, if you're coming into this class after having taken other classes like 324 or 328 or 424 or things like that, you're probably going to see some repetition of some things, and you'll probably see some things that are a little bit different. But bear in mind, this is supposed to be the place where people are supposed to begin. That doesn't mean that they always do, but so that's why this class overlaps in a lot of ways with some of the others. I decided not to assign a textbook this semester for this class because most of the textbooks that are available out there are kind of expensive, and frankly, they're not that useful. So one of the things that we're going to be doing this semester is part of the assignment is you're going to help me create and find the materials that support the assignments that we're going to be doing this semester. In other words, under the required readings and tools, you'll see there's no required textbook, but part of the assignment for the class is you're going to help as the class goes along to gather the materials that we'll be reading and discussing this semester. You're also going to have a Google account because we're going to be using Google Docs extensively and Google Hangouts and other things like that to do sharing activities and peer review activities and things like that. If you already have a Google account and you're comfortable sharing that with everybody, go right ahead and do that. If you don't have a Google account, then this is your chance to do so. And if you have a Google account where you don't want the whole world to, know your username or password or whatever, or username, because we wouldn't know your password. This would be a good opportunity for you to create a new Google account. You can do that if you want. That's up to you. I want to take a moment to talk in some detail about the online attendance participation part of the class, because the thing about an online class is, and some people aren't necessarily familiar with this, is it's not a self-paced class. You'll see that there's a lot of interaction with other people through the course of the semester. And it's not a class where you can kind of drop in wherever you want to. Rather, it's a class that exists like the regular online class, except that you do have to attend it on a regular basis. Now, you do have a lot of flexibility. I mean, there's all kinds of different ways to attend the class. For example, you could be in Paris, or you could be at a beautiful beach watching the sunset. If you have good Wi-Fi, you could be on a roller coaster. Whee! Whoa! Ah! But here's my point. You have to attend the class on a regular basis, and you have to engage in the activities for the class on a regular basis. Now, when we get to talk about the schedule, we'll see that usually means that you have to begin something on a Monday, and Monday goes from midnight to midnight. It's, 24 hours, and you have to finish that something by Wednesday, and you have to begin something again by Wednesday and finish it by that Friday. And you'll see how we go, how it works when we get to the schedule and when we get into class. If you're absent, completely not participating in one of these blocks of time 4 times or 3 times, I will count you electronically, digitally absent, and I will dock your participation grade by 30%. If you're digitally absent like this from the class 4 times, I'll dock your participation grade 150%, and you won't be able to pass the class. So needless to say, you actually have to be here electronically regardless of where you might be in the real world. I have some other warnings here about the nature of the online class. Because of the kind of class that it is a class where you need to be computer savvy and you need to be able to do some of this stuff online, because this is the only interface that we have. So if you're someone who says, I'm not really good with computers, then you don't want to take 323 this semester. You want to take it in a semester when it meets face to face. If you're someone who doesn't really needs to have that schedule to show up to class on a regular basis, you might not want to take it this semester. You might want to take it when it meets face to face. And under no circumstances will I accept a lack of computer access or going on some sort of trip or the dog ate my computer or something like that as a valid excuse for not being able to complete some of the assignments. Okay. Like I said already, there's a lot of participation and interaction in the class because writing is a social activity, and essentially what we do in this class is we complete a lot of short writing assignments, we exchange them with each other, we talk with each other about them, we work with each other on some of them. So there's going to be a lot of peer review and discussion where you work with each other on talking about these short projects. The other big part of participation for the class is there's going to be a collaborative writing project for the second half of the semester. I'll talk about that in just a second. Also, you need to sort of contribute readings to the course. We talked about this already, and this will make sense once the schedule goes along, but with some of these different assignments, I'll ask you to do a little research to find readings that you can share with us that are sort of guidelines, how to, and other pieces of advice on how these different kinds of assignments work. And also part of what you need to do with the class is need to learn to use some of the new writing technologies we're talking about. If you've never used Google Docs, for example, or if you've never used Google Drive or Google Hangout or some of this presentation multimedia software and things like that we'll be experimenting with this semester, then part of what you need to do for participation is learn how to do this stuff. If you're someone who's already familiar with a bunch of this stuff, this would be a great opportunity for you to share with others your knowledge and to help other people along. Now, the meat of the matter, the writing assignments, that's where the classes as a total is worth 1,000 points. 300 points are for participation. 700 points are for the writing assignments, and I'll describe these in more detail. But they are the personal statement, the email writing assignment, the letter of complaint, response to letter of complaint assignment, an instructions assignment, an informal report assignment, a resume and application letter assignment, and a formal recommendation report and presentation, which is a collaborative project at the end of the semester. Now, you'll see when we get to talk about the assignments themselves that a lot of these assignments are actually quite short, which is an interesting thing about this class. Most writing classes, there's a lot of emphasis put on length. It has to be 2,000 words or something like that. A lot of these assignments, especially the first couple of ones, are going to be actually about a page long, and that's about it. But don't let that fool you in terms of it's a really easy assignment, I don't have to think about it. No. You have to think very carefully about it, not only because every single one of those words counts, and writing things that are brief and to the point can sometimes be more challenging, but also there's this issue of correctness, which I'll talk about in just a second. I'm against late work. You shouldn't turn things in late. If you do have some sort of problem that for some reason you can't get something in on time, let me know ahead of time and I might work out a deal with you. Otherwise, I'll deduct 10% of the grade for every 72 hours a project is late. The other thing is that one of the key issues of this class is the avoidance of unacceptable errors. And I described this a little bit in the syllabus here, in the policy statement. But the class is called Writing in the Professional World. And that means a lot of different things. But one of the things it really means is if you're going to be a professional writer, you have to do things right. Because if you make a bunch of errors that stand out to people, they won't take you seriously. So the way I try to enforce that in this class or reinforce that in this class is that for any of the projects that you hand in, if I encounter more than 2 unacceptable errors in grammar, style, format, or something like that, I'll deduct 10% of the grade, give it back to you, and then ask you to resubmit it error-free within 72 hours. Some of the first readings we'll talk about in this semester talk about why this is so important. In order to pass the course, you have to complete all the major assignments, regardless of your grade and any of the other assignments. In other words, if you decide, I don't want to do resume and application letter, I'll just take a C. No, you won't be able to pass. And then there's some stuff up in the fine print about plagiarism, University Writing Center, and things like that. You should read through those. Now, to go back to the class website, I'm going to take a quick look at the schedule, and you'll see the way that the schedule is set up. It begins week 1, it's per week, and then it says, for example, looking at week 1 where it says January 6th, January 10th, First day class, if you're looking at this in January 6th, then it's the first day class. And by the way, since it's an online class, it doesn't matter to me if it's a snow day or not. I mean, I'm recording this actually on the Saturday before the semester begins because the Snowmageddon is supposed to be coming Sunday and Monday. But anyways, first day class, introduction, syllabus, getting started with Google Docs, and you see all that kind of below there. And you need to do those things, introduce yourselves, get to talk about the syllabus, the schedule, things like that, beginning on Monday and wrapping that up on Wednesday. Then beginning on Wednesday, we'll continue working Google Docs. We'll talk about the memo assignment. We'll talk about the the memo requirements rather. We'll talk about the personal statement assignment. We'll talk about that reading, the top 20 from the St. Martin's Handbook. And then it continues onward like that. The first assignment you'll see is actually due on Tuesday, January 21st, and then all the other deadlines for assignments are highlighted like that on red. Or rather, I should say in red. Now, there could be some changes to the schedule in terms of deadlines and dates and stuff like that. And there will certainly be some additions to the schedule. There's a lot of places where it says to be arranged readings because that's part of the assignment that you need to help me with. You need to help come up with some of the readings that we'll be talking about for those various parts of the class. There's no final for the class. Everything will be pretty much wrapped up by the last day of classes, which is Monday, April 21st. And the end of time for the class is the time of the final, which would be Monday, April 28th. Real quickly, let me just mention some of the assignments. If you go look under the tab that says assignments, you will see all of the assignments described in some detail in terms of what each one is about. And we will begin talking about all of those very, very soon. You might want to take a look at the personal statement assignment first, since that's the first one we're going to be doing. Okay, I think that's it. Thanks for watching through this introduction. I'm looking forward to getting into talking about writing in the professional world, and I'll see you online.